So my name is Dr. Debbie Fulton. I am the lead teacher for our alternative school in Lawrence District 55 Preparatory Academy, and the director, district liaison for our actual virtual academy as well. And so the team here that I'm working with, I've already mentioned, except for Ms. Jenny Abercrombie. She is not here today. She had something else that she needed to do because we wear a lot of different hats in a small district. And so we're going to move forward. I just wanted you to see that, like many of you, we have a lot of experience with Edmentum. Maybe 15 years in.
It's been a while since I've been here.
Yeah, possibly 20. I've been in Lawrence since '99. And I have been working with Play-Doh when it was actually the bust of Play-Doh. So it has been many years, and I'm able to talk to you from a teacher standpoint, from an administrator standpoint, of working with this product as it has evolved over the years. So I do have a lot of experience with that. Calvert Learning, Exact Path, Study Island, Reading Eggs, and now EdOptions Academy. I'm very limited in the elementary side. Okay, so don't ask any questions about any of that. Okay, but we're going to move forward here and let you see here that we use our courseware. Our focus will be courseware since we're all high school. The strengths of the program, many of you have already mentioned. The diverse elective course offerings, students being able to work independently or with teacher guidance, an updated interface, and that's a big deal to me. I don't know if it's a big deal to you all, but we've worked with several different online programs, and if it doesn't look age appropriate, it's kind of hard to get kids to get engaged. So I do appreciate the work you all are doing with updating your interface, just the look of it, the feel of it, that is modernized. I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate that. And then we use it as a Clever sign-on. We just go straight, have our kids go right to Clever, and they have access to it. Let's see. We map our courses at the high school because of the pandemic, like everybody else. We learned that we needed to make sure that we had that option for our teachers. So in addition to that, we have added on, I'm working with EdOptions Academy. We use it at our Preparatory Academy, Rebound, and Twilight. So while I have Ms. Simpson and Ms. Hill on the line, I'm going to move forward to their slides here, and we'll come back. So Rebound, Ms. Simpson, are you ready?
I am actually driving, but I'm good. I can multitask.
All right.
Rate to Rebound it developed several years ago with two desires. Number one, to catch up kids who were behind, but also to try to pull back in some students who were in our non-GR set, who we wanted to make sure had the opportunity to finish on time. At that point, we were using A+, and I'm thankful for for Edmentum because the rigor, I think, is definitely there. So we use it currently for mainly two purposes. One is for credit recovery, which I think by the next slide should explain. But anybody who has had a 50 to a 59 in a class, they can recover that class by doing lessons that are pulled from the full course. I always have the core teachers go through and tell me which ones of those lessons need to be done to show mastery. Like, if you're doing biology, there are obviously key concepts that you have to have in order to be considered mastered in biology. So we always involve the core courses for that. The other thing that we use is for students who have fallen behind and just don't have enough credits. For one reason or another. It could be they've transferred in, it could be that they just got behind, it could be they're trying to repeat classes and they got behind, but it allows them the opportunity to kind of catch up more than anything. And so we have two we have 3 classes of Rate or Rebound and 2 teachers that are in that class period who monitor their progress, and they send out statements to me, to administrators, and to the guidance department telling what the progress of those students is each day and each week. And that has worked well. And we have some in Twilight as well, after school, working with Gear Up and with Twilight, that we can offer both of those options too, in addition. So I think that's my part. If anybody has any questions for me, I'd be glad to answer them.
How about Ms. Hill? Let me make sure I get you in as well. Do you have anything you want to add to what Ms. Simpson has said?
I do actually. Everything she said carries over into the Twilight program. The only thing that Ms. Simpson didn't mention is with the new program that we've paired with the adult ed, where our students who are no longer high school age appropriate, or students who don't have the desire to come during the day, or who have other conflicts where a traditional high school schedule will not work for them. So the Twilight program starts after school, and we utilize Edmentum so those students can be introduced to many courses. I like the fact that they can do their core subjects as well as gain elective credits as well. So that's the plus about Twilight. Now they can use it to get ahead as well, or if they're trying to recover, they can come to the Twilight program if our Rate or Rebound program during the day doesn't work for them.
All right, so I thank both of you, and I did not catch your very beginning of the session today, but this word keeps chasing us, and because I keep hearing you all talk about champions. Well, believe it or not, that is our theme in Lawrence District 55 this year, being a champion. And I should have worn that shirt, it's in the car. But so, and I mentioned that because truly I want to thank Ms. Hill and Ms. Simpson, and especially Ms. Simpson at this very moment. She said, I want to ask if she was on the line, she said, Bill, I got a slight emergency with my dad, but I'll be right there. I'll be right there. So Ms. Simpson, I understand that you have to sign off, and I hope everything goes well. Ms. Hill, thank you so much. I know I pulled you from your task as well. Thank you all for coming. And stay on the line if you want, but if you have to leave, I understand.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, I can go backwards. All right, so going back to the 2 things that I work with particularly, and that is our alternative school and our alternative program. John Roberts may remember, I was not a fan when Edmentum came on the scene after I've been using Play-Doh, because like I said, I had been using it for eons, almost 20-something years. And when I heard them come in to our district principals meeting and said, we've integrated and we're gonna be on Clever, and Clever is the single sign-on, and do you guys, how do you think about it? And I'm like, don't like it. And he was like, where are you? I said, at the alternative school. He said, I know why you don't like it. And then, so everybody was like, why don't you like it? I said, because I have a problem when you are serving students in dual sites and you have a product that can only be associated for one site. And when the alternative school, because this was basically Courseware was our lifeline. Those of you who have alternative programs in your district, you don't always have huge offerings, huge amounts of staff, and different things like that. And so when you have something that you're working with that ends up being the lifeline of your program, and people tell you single sign-on, I'm not the happy camper. So I was very upset about it, and I went back to the team and said, this is not gonna work. This is not gonna work. I understand what you all are trying to do, and no, I'm not trying to have one program stop the district going forward, but there has to be a way that we're able to use this and the other sites be able to use it as well. And so I thank Edmentum for what they did so that we were able to create our own kind of house within the system so that our students could continue to have the benefit of being able to continue whatever it is. So that was a major snafu that got corrected, and now I love it. It's all great. We're good. So at the alternative school, like I said, you know, we have students who just need an alternative way to get where they're trying to go. So you can see one of the things in 55, we're kind of big on alternative pathways. And so those students that are in the alternative program, especially when it comes to electives, and I know in the last couple of years, you guys have kind of like exploded with electives because you're furthering your database with going with different platforms and buying different people. I will say, you know, I do appreciate the original plan, the original way that everything has been presented. So when I see that you're bringing in new stuff, and now I say, okay, this is the first version, I'm gonna wait on the second version because I know you're gonna modernize it. I know you're gonna update it. But I mean, but that's, you know, so they call me, okay, so now when they're talking about Edmentum, okay, Fulton, what is it? You know, what do we need to know about it? And I can say, okay, this is coming online, but be mindful, it's gonna show up this way. There is no substitute for working with the computerized based program. Those of you that are partnering with it, it is great. It's just like any other technology. You have to interact with it. And one thing kids will do that adults will not do is they will take it apart. They will play with it. They will do whatever. So I will caution you that if you're going this route, and hopefully you are, that one of the first things that you invest in is training. Train yourself before you talk to your teachers. Then find out who was actually working with it. I heard someone, I think it was Ms. Goodwin, said, inspect what you expect. Actually do that. If there's no accountability to use Edmentum, then it's gonna be spotty all over your district. And you're not gonna get the gains that you're looking for. So you do wanna make sure that you are making those considerations when it comes to, and then make sure that every program can be served in some way, shape, or form. Think about the homebound kid. Think about, you know, all of these different things where we're scratching our heads trying to figure out what to do. And I feel like we're reinventing the wheel, and we have resources in place. It does require us to figure it out. How will we make sure that we get those kids the access? But Courseware definitely has allowed us to be able to move into that world of alternativeness. And I'm not scared. I'm not scared about it at all. Now EdOptions Academy, I'm like a little scared. And it's only because it's new. This is our first year doing EdOptions Academy. Is there anybody else doing EdOptions Academy in this group? Oh, we got it. I saw our hand. All right. So EdOptions, and last year everybody, I guess, probably did their own virtual academy with their own teachers because the majority of your students were virtual. This year we had a small amount of students that picked virtual initially. So, but that number has creeped up. But we decided to partner with EdOptions Academy. And so we've been doing it now for about a few months. The implementation and the planning has been going on. We've been talking now for several months. And so these are the strengths that I can share with you. Use of the same courseware product. That is actually a strength, but it can be confusing. Because remember, I talked to you about mapping. We map. So all of our District 55 students are mapped to a particular course, 6th through 12th grade. Well, we also integrate those teachers into our Power School. So when those class sections were created, there was another mapping. So even though the EdOptions teachers have a particular way to launch into courseware, if those kids do not go exactly to that particular website, it can be confusing for them because they can see once they go in Clever or any other place, oh, I got it over here and I got it over there. So it was just something that we had to learn about. I thought it was a strength because at least everybody could feel like we're doing the same thing and they're getting the same thing. And that's important. Rolling enrollment is what probably I would say is the #1 thing that sets EdOptions over virtual SC that's offered by the state. Because once that registration period is over, that's all you can do. But with EdOptions, you're able to continue to enroll students each time. Very responsive, any concerns that we've had, because you know, you just can't answer all the questions. You don't know all your questions until you're in the midst So EdOptions, that team has been very responsive in anything that we've asked. Site coordinators given access to any of our district data, that has been very helpful. And then I can't stress enough that if you want someone to tell you how to use their product, Edmentum, I will have to give you all credit, kudos to you. I mean, oh, you need a trainer? You need a trainer? We'll send somebody, what, you need another trainer? Come on, we'll send somebody else. We don't have it right now. Oh, you need a trainer? I'm like, I can't, you know, so, but that's great. I mean, that's really, really great. I enjoy it. I love the fact that you all are that excited about your product, that whenever someone needs assistance, you're willing to help us get the assistance that we need. And I want to make sure that I have covered everything, because I don't always need to go slide by slide. Is there anything that you see or anything that might be?
The y'all's virtual is K-12, right?
And our virtual is K-12. Right now, I think I'm being told that we're using Calvert, but the plan is to move to more like a Courseware platform, right? So Calvert is what we're using for K through 5. And then, of course, 6 through 12 is using that. The teachers that are working with us at EdOptions Academy are South Carolina certified. Let's see. There are some live help. It is not like our virtual academy last year, where we had live instruction every single period, every single day. They have live help sessions available every day throughout the day. Sometimes it's with their teacher of record, sometimes it's not. It has been different for parents because it does require more interaction with your child's instruction. And we've had a number of parents sign my kid up. And then I said, okay, so now what's the schedule? You didn't read my email. You missed that memo. You're going to develop the schedule based on what you and the EdOptions teacher. Oh, okay. So then I had one parent who said, you know, this is really engaging. I want my parent account. So I'm very happy because it forces, well, encourages, let's go with that. We should, but I'm an alternative school, so let's just keep it in mind. But it does encourage them to say, hey, if you want this option and you want to work with this product, you have to be involved to be able to understand what's going on. And so then in a minute, I'm going to show you kind of what I see in EdOptions Academy, so that you can see what the site coordinators, all of the guidance counselors at the various sites, and all of the district leadership have a site coordinator account. We're able to track the attendance, how much students are engaging with the information, and how we can communicate with students and parents to say, hey, we see some problems, some warning flags here from what your child is doing in Courseware. So let's see, I think we are good to go. And then I'm going to change out here to our, Dr. Penland, are you on the line yet? All right, I think that's a no. Exact path. I'm so glad that Ms. Goodwin talked about exact path, because that's all I have. Okay, that's all I have. So don't ask me any questions on that. So, but you can see there, for those individuals who know about exact path, and it's very exciting for us to be able to do that. I do know that our learning paths now have been matched up, and so we are going to be doing more of this, and so I'm sure I'll be hearing more about exact path in our principals meeting. So I'm just going to switch gears here. All right, so I may need you, Mr. Roberts. And any questions? Well, within the barriers that I did, it's just, you know, what they were. All right, but you can always, and I'll share a link to this here for you. I might be all right.
Good.
I think so.
There you go. Look at it.
All right, I'm about to call you next, Darlington. So since you guys are IT. Okay, this is my dashboard page. Well, no, this is my students' dashboard page. And I wanted to show you first that when they go in and they use their login, they can see that they're different teachers, see what's going on. This is one of our guidance counselors, children, he does very well. But when they click launch, then it will actually take them to the regular interface that we use in Courseware, if it will load. Maybe. Possibly. Yeah. And so you see what I mean? So it's going to take you to what's familiar, those of us that's been working with Courseware for many, many moons. But again, if they do not go to the correct Genius website for the EdOptions Academy, they can see another version and think that they're working in this version, but it's not there. So if you're doing this and if you're working with this, that's key for you to understand, and it's key for you to communicate. One of the things I would say, it's not so much that something is problematic, it's if the messaging is not presented in a timely manner. Really, you can work through anything when you get to see that. So I wanted you to see that. And then I wanted to show you how we're able to track our students' progress in EdOptions. See if it will. All right, so I'm gonna log out, log back in as myself. All right, so this is my and all of the different site coordinators page, homepage. This is where we go. We have several affiliated sites. And so I will just find me an affiliation.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to the high school since we're kind of partial. All right, so you heard from Ms. Hill, she's our contact there. And you would go to the enrollment history. And this was the one thing that it just tickled me that I'm like, oh, yes. And I know Andrew, who was working with us on that team as our rep, was like, really, Debbie, this is exciting to you? I'm like, it is exciting to me. So you can have your time frame, sort your students. And then of course, Mr. Abel comes up again. But as you can see, it shares with me a lot of key information for our counselors when they want to talk to the parents, because that can be a very daunting thing when you're trying to interpret reports and what's going on electronically. But when we were taught this, again, because of training, they do training. In our last training session, it was just like, ah! You know, and I was just telling everybody, listen, it's easy. And so when we got over here and we have these two columns that tells you percent of activities completed versus percent of days completed. Because when you're thinking about rolling enrollment, that's key information, because we set up a time frame for each kid to finish that part of the course, semester A or semester B. So if I see, and what I want to see always is either two things. Either I want to see that these two percentages are very closely aligned, or I want to see that the activities percentages is much higher than the days completed. Because then I'll know that either that child is on pace to get the work done in a decent time frame, or that child is ahead of pace, which is ideally where we want them to be, if also their grades are also where we want them to be ideally. Of course, we're not worried about course grades unless we're near the end. If we're near the end and our current grade is a great grade, but our course grade is not, something's wrong, and it lets us know, hey, we need to contact this student that's in the virtual academy, and we need to find out what's going on. So this particular page has just been phenomenal for our staff to be confident in being able to talk and share and offer solutions to parents and students going forward. So that's actually all that I think that I had. I'll give Dr. Penman one more time to chime in. I think I might have been too fast, but that's just what I do. But if you have questions, I will definitely answer them as much as possible. But that's how we are furthering our journey with Edmentum.